Hi guys, and a very warm welcome to Gully Cricketer. I am Siddharth, and I'm a Gully Cricketer. And this is my take on everything that's cricket. Now, I don't profess to be an expert, and oftentimes, especially now of late, I often tend to disagree with some of the experts. So I thought I will get out to you all and share my two pence. And yeah, that's where the idea came from. And in our part of the world, cricket at times, most of the times. Transcend beyond being a sport and the bearing it has on our pursuit of happiness, the fact that it can put a smile in the midst of a shitty day, or make us brood, or make us dance in joy, and sometimes make us sulk for days on end. So yeah, I come to you at the cusp of Gavaskar Trophy, and after a 3-0 rubbing in the hands of New Zealand of all teams. Not that the not that I take cues lightly, but one would have to say that nobody saw that coming. But here we are. So this is my two pence on cricket, Indian cricket, and I hope it resonates with you, and you guys will come along in this journey with me. So let's get started. So first and foremost, the 3-0 rubbing in the hands of New Zealand. So all the experts have gone to town, with their criticism against the cricketers, and I would say this much: yes, the onus of this defeat lies with the cricketers. I mean, though there were certain factors that I thought played a great hand in this debacle, but at the end of the day, they have to own up to the fact that this was really embarrassing and unacceptable. And till it happened, I don't think anybody could have ever even thought of it in their worst nightmares. But it happened, and with all the criticism that the players have copped, especially the batsmen, especially the likes of Rohit and Virat, that this lot can't play spin and whatnot. So I'm not claiming that this lot are as good at against the spin as the generation of Tendulkar, Dravid, Ganguly, Lakshman, Viru. I don't think they're anywhere near as good. But having said that, I don't think that's the reason why they lost. I felt that luck played a hand in it. New Zealand had the rub of the green going their way all throughout the series, especially in the first test. Rohit Sharma won the toss, and then, for lack of a better word, ironically, chose to bat first. Yes, I don't think Rohit or the team management or even the Kiwis would have thought that the ball would do as much as it did. However, it was overcast conditions. First day had been washed off. The wickets been under the wraps for 2 days. It made no cricketing sense, you know, electing to bat, and that backfired. However, there's still no excuse for 46 all out. That's a, that's something that's difficult to fathom, but yeah, it happened. I thought India played pretty well in the second innings, batted really well. Uh, there was at that point when Sarfaraz and Rishabh were batting, it felt like we will, you know, snatch a victory out of the jaws of defeat. We could have actually won the test match had they been on the crease for another hour or so. Even one of them had they had spent another hour on the crease, I think India could have won the test match. But it is what it is. Again, I would say that when New Zealand took the second new ball during the second innings, again the clouds sort of ambled in, and the ball did a bit more than you would expect. Taking nothing away from William Roke, I thought he bowled exceptionally. So there is that. And again, when India didn't get the chance to bowl in those conditions, the light fell and India couldn't bowl. So, as I said, that first test match, especially, the rub of the green was totally with New Zealand. However, I think the clinching factor in that first test match was Saudi's innings of 65 odd balls. I mean, that, at hindsight, when you look at it, that probably made a great difference. Not probably, I think that made the biggest difference in a sense. Uh, So there was that. Then second and third test match. I would love to know, and this has been something that has been inside me for a good while now. I would love to know who take these calls about making these wickets. You know, what is that think tank? What is that group that decides on the wickets? I, the wickets in Pune and Bombay, the fact that India has lost would probably mean they would get away with it. I hope they're rated poor because they should be rated poor. Because those were abysmal wickets. You should not be playing any sort of cricket on those kind of wickets. Forget international cricket. Because given the current laws and DRS, I don't think batsmen stood a chance in hell against decent bowling on those wickets. It it just makes no sense. What is the goal? To finish the match in 2 days? Or what? What was the idea? That India would automatically win the tosses? Because when you produce wickets like that, the luck factor comes into the equation big time. The toss becomes very important. Whoever wins the toss and bats first gets a distinct advantage because nobody wants to bat on those wickets last. You don't want to do that. And especially the wicket in Mumbai after the Pune debacle, it was hard to fathom how the Mumbai wicket turned out to be, pretty much, a little more bouncier variant of the same thing that was in Pune. It made no sense to me. But yeah, I mean, so you can criticize the batters as much as you want. You can criticize the bowlers as well because New Zealand bowlers outbowled us. Uh, but at the end of the day, those wickets, they don't have any place in international cricket today. I see. I think for in the last decade or so, pretty much every team, barring Australia, maybe went through that phase where England is again another guilty party. India is a big guilty party where we have produced wickets that are so much catered in so-called our favor that I don't think that's great for cricket. And in the recent past, whenever we tried to create those kind of wickets that's tilted to our side, they have always backfired. But yet in this series, those kind of wickets were produced, and not once but twice. Even after when India was 2-0 down, the wicket in Mumbai turned out to be pretty much the same variant. I mean, that that boggles my mind, and that, according to me, was the real reason why India lost that series. Having said that, it still is no excuse, despite the condition being so badly against you, luck not going your way, because New Zealand won two very key tosses in Pune and in Mumbai and batted first. And when Rohit did win the toss in Bangalore, we all know what happened. So, but despite of it all, this the performance was unacceptable, barring a few Pant and Jaiswal primarily. Uh, though Shubman Gill got some runs in Mumbai in the first innings, but I never felt that he looked comfortable against left arm spin once the ball is really turning and once the bowler was in the groove. Uh, so yeah, so there's no excuse. Sometimes I wonder, when I look back, that that again, that magnificent generation of Sachin, Dravid, Ganguly, Lakshman, the way they used to play spin. One thing that often comes to my mind, especially that 281 of Lakshman's come to my mind, that where has that art of playing spin by coming down the wicket? Where has that art gone? I don't know. Hardly we see cricketers do it. Even cricketers from subcontinent these days, hardly we see them do it. When they come out, they're coming out to belt the ball out of the stadium. Whereas I keep getting those images of Lakshman coming down the wicket, dancing down and playing shin, one of all people, off the rough against the spin, and he would do it regularly. So where has that art gone? That's a good question to ask. I was very disappointed with Sarfaraz. I think coming from domestic cricket, I expected him to do better, but it just goes on to show that you don't get these wickets in even domestic cricket. Nobody is prepared for these wickets, and no matter what these experts say, they haven't played the game with DRS and with the current set of laws. Because if you ask me, I mean, I just wonder, I mean, how do you play a Santner when he's putting the ball on a box and some are turning and some are not? With the current laws of the game being what they are and DRS being perfected over the years by pretty much every team, not that sometimes they don't make bad decisions, but mostly DRS is taken very smartly these days. How do you play against spin like that? And another thing that I would like to point out to those experts, most of my childhood, half the time I saw people playing spin with their pads. That was a very common mode of playing spin. And today you can't do that. Today you pad a ball without playing a shot. Even if it is outside the line, people are going to appeal. Sometimes umpires will give you. I mean, the best example was Washi's. Uh, Washi played the ball. It was probably, 2 foot outside the off stump. He batted it, and they took a DRS because umpire didn't give it. And yes, in that case, that DRS didn't work. But the point I'm trying to make is that if you do it today, umpires will often give you out if the ball is turning enough, and if the umpires don't give you out, the opposition team generally takes DRS, and oftentimes it works. So the sports have changed, the rules have changed. DRS has brought in new dimension to things. So I wonder whether that also plays a hand in the fact that not too many players, even from the subcontinent, come down the wicket to play spin anymore. Because I think even if you come down the wicket to play spin, and if you miss and it hits the pad and if it's in line, they will appeal. The umpire will give it. If the umpire doesn't give it, they will go for DRS. And they're most likely going to get it. So, so these factors come in. The only thing I would say here is this: please, for whoever these people are who are responsible for making pitches, I don't think the captain, coach, and the team management has that much of a say. And if they do have that much of a say, then well, whoever has a say, the fault lies with them. Please stop making these wickets because it is not helping us, and more importantly, it is not helping cricket. It doesn't produce great cricket. You want a balance between bat and ball. You want wickets where the especially in India. I mean, traditionally, how we used to see during our childhood was first couple of days were really brilliant to bat. From third day onwards, ball will start to do things. The wicket will gradually break down. Fourth, fifth day, it belong to the ball, and the first 2 days belong to the bat. Why not go back to that balance? Because when we go back to that balance, your Ashwin and Jadeja stand out. They don't need these wickets to take wickets. Frankly, yes, most of their careers they had these kind of wickets, but they don't need these wickets. And when you produce these wickets, you bring in the lesser spinners into the game. So when the opposition teams, even when they don't have great spinners, they look like $1,000,000 because the wicket is doing everything for them. So I hope this is something that Indian cricket addresses because I think we have paid enough. A great example would be the World Cup final 2023. God knows who made that wicket. Anyways, so that was my 2 pence on the Indian New Zealand series. Now it has happened. However embarrassing it is that 3-0 drubbing. Let's move on. Now we stand at the cusp of border Gavaskar Trophy 24-25. It is without a doubt one of the most interesting cricketing engagements in the world itinerary, and we'll be back there. We have been holding the Border Gavaskar Trophy for the last 10 years. For the last 4 series, we have beaten them twice at home, and we have beaten them fairly and squarely. In fact, last time we beat them with India C team, to be very fair. So we are getting there. Lot is being written, lot is being talked about, it is being hyped up, the build-up is going on, this and that. Everybody seems to have a differing opinion, or sometimes, the Australian media is going crazy, all those things. A fair amount of people from Indian side, a fair amount of senior cricketers, mainly Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, these guys are being written off. Some people are even writing the obituaries. I will say this: write them off at your own expense. I'll make a bold prediction here. I'll tell you this right now. I think Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, both of them are going to have a fabulous Australian summer. Fabulous Australian summer. Not just Virat and Rohit, but Jasprit Bumrah, Rishabh Pant, Yashasvi Jaiswal. I know Yashasvi Jaiswal hasn't played in Australia and the bounce and all that, but I think he would come good. He might, it might take him an innings or two to get, organized around the bounce, but I think Yashasvi is going to come good. And I really hope Shubman Gill comes of age in Test cricket there. Those wickets will suit him. He plays fast bowling well. I really hope Shubman Gill really comes of age there, as far as Test cricket is concerned. So this is going to be a fascinating series. This is going to be a fascinating series. Don't take anything away uh, from the series because yes, India has been down and suffered the most humiliating defeat in probably history of our cricket. But don't write us off, and don't write Virat Kohli off because sometimes a lot has been written about him, and people tend to forget that you're talking about the greatest batsman of his generation, by far the greatest batsman of his generation. And I don't buy the argument of Test cricket being real cricket. Any batsman or any cricketer who dominates the era that he has played in is the greatest of that era, and nobody has dominated this era as Virat Kohli has, and he doesn't really have any competition. I know Steve Smith's numbers in Test cricket is great. Root is doing very well right now, or off late. He's been doing incredibly well. Kane Williamson is always solid, always there. But when you look across formats, when you look at cricket, how it has been played in this generation, it's not just Test cricket. Cricket is not Test cricket only. Don't forget that cricket is also ODI cricket, also T20 cricket, and across three formats, Virat Kohli does not have any competition. Not in this generation. The only competition that he has or he had, their careers crossed a bit, and that is AB de Villiers. AB, I would say, was a more talented one, and some of his exploits are. But when you look at it, then I don't think anybody comes close to Virat Kohli. So we're talking about the greatest batsman of his generation, and people are taking him down left, right, and center. Yes, he has not had a great time of late, and yes, post lockdown, his Test career has not really been Virat Kohli-ish. But wait for it, Australia, Virat Kohli. I think he's going to do great things there this time around. Now, also there are a few other people that are there, like the bowling side of things. Harshit Rana is a great prospect. I do see him playing. Prasidh Krishna, again, I think, given the length of the tour, 5 Test matches, will get a look in sometime. But another player who has been written off late, just like Virat and Rohit, is Mohammad Siraj. Don't write off Mohammad Siraj. I think Mohammad Siraj is going to prove the naysayers wrong. He's also going to come up with really, really good performances in Australia. And over and above everything else and above all, Jasprit Bumrah, the best, undisputedly best bowler of this generation, across again all three formats. Jasprit Bumrah is going to rock. This is going to be a fascinating series because, see, Australia has done well, really well at their own backyard since since the last Gavaskar Trophy, to be honest. And the only thing that I'm a little I'm thinking about a little bit is that the wickets in Australia has become a little more spicier since then. At least the data suggests that it used to be 38 point something per wicket before, whereas now it is around 28. So I don't know what that is to be seen. How I don't think Australia would produce really green wickets. I don't think that would help them actually. If they do, I mean, good luck to you facing Jasprit and Siraj, and Shami hopefully will come in sometime during the series. And I hope it happens sooner rather than later. If you can get him in, yes, the fitness would be a thing, and that has to be seen. But if you can get him in before the day-night test in Adelaide, that will be great. So if they produce those sort of wickets, Best of luck playing Jasprit and Shami and Siraj and Harshit or Prasid Krishna, anybody who's going to come in. I'm very excited about Nitish Kumar Reddy. I would like to see him do well there. And don't forget, in the midst of all of this, there's Ashwin, there's Jadeja, and Washington Sundar. This is going to be a fascinating test series, guys. I'm really excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. And I will be here all throughout this test series, bringing you my 2 pence on it. Hopefully, you'll be here, and hopefully, we'll make this journey together. So until then, see you.